Here's the thing nobody tells you. Respect isn't given, it's earned. And if you're watching this right now, chances are you're tired of being ignored, walked over, or treated like you don't matter. So, let me ask you straight up, when was the last time someone truly listened when you spoke? When was the last time people actually valued your opinion? If you can't remember, then stick around, because what I'm about to share will completely change how people see you. And I'm not talking about some motivational nonsense you've heard 1,000 times. This is raw, uncomfortable truth that most people are too scared to face. You see, there's a pattern that separates people who command respect from those who beg for it. And the crazy part? Most people doing the wrong things don't even realize it. They keep wondering why nobody takes them seriously, why their friends cancel plans on them, why nobody asks for their advice. The answer is simpler than you think, but fixing it requires brutal honesty with yourself. Let me start with something that might sting a bit. If people don't respect you, the first place you need to look is the mirror. Not your parents, not your circumstances, not your past. You. Because respect starts with one simple question. What value do you bring? Think about it like this. Imagine you have two friends. Friend number one knows everything about cars. Anytime your bike breaks down, he fixes it in minutes. He teaches you tricks, saves you money, makes your life easier. Friend number two, he just exists, shows up, complains about life, asks for favors, gives nothing back. Now be honest, who would you respect more? Who would you actually want to keep around? The brutal truth is this. People respect value. If you're not offering anything valuable, you're just another face in the crowd. And I'm not talking about money or looks here. Value means knowledge, skills, solutions, energy, positivity, help. Something that makes people's lives better when you're around. So the first big mistake you might be making is thinking respect is automatic. It's not. You don't get respect for just existing. A lazy person who wakes up at noon, scrolls social media all day, has no goals, no skills, nothing to offer, why would anyone respect that? They wouldn't. And deep down, you already know this. But here's where it gets interesting. Let's say you do have value. You're smart, talented, skilled, but people still don't respect you. Why? Because of mistake number 2, and this one hits hard. You talk big, but deliver small. You know that person who always says, I'm starting a business next month, but never does? Or, I'm going to get in shape this year, but 3 months later, nothing's changed? That person destroys their own respect with their mouth. Every time you make a promise and break it, you chip away at how people see you. Every time you say you'll be somewhere at 6 and show up at 7:30, you teach people your word means nothing. And here's the thing. People notice everything. You borrow money and say you'll return it Friday? They're counting the days. Friday comes and goes. No money, no message, no call. What do you think goes through their mind? Simple. This person can't be trusted. And once trust is gone, respect follows right behind it. So if you want respect, become someone whose word actually means something. Say less, do more, show up when you say you will. Return what you borrow, follow through on commitments. Be the person people can count on, not the person they make excuses for. But let's go deeper. Mistake number 3 is a silent killer, and it's probably destroying your respect right now without you even knowing. You can't say no. You're too available, too agreeable, too easy. Someone calls you at midnight for a favor? You do it. Someone asks you to drop everything and help them? You do it. Someone treats you badly but asks for another chance? You give it. And you think this makes you a good person. But here's the reality, it makes you a doormat. Respect requires boundaries. When you say yes to everything, you teach people your time has no value, your energy has no value, you have no value. Think about it. The friend who's always free, always available, always ready to drop everything, do people respect them more or less? Less. Because there's no challenge, no effort required, no appreciation for their time. Now compare that to someone who has standards. Someone who says, I can't tonight, I'm working on something important. Someone who values their own time enough to protect it. People respect that. They respect boundaries. They respect people who respect themselves. And this connects directly to mistake number 4, which might be the most painful one to hear. You don't respect yourself. You downplay your achievements. When someone compliments you, you say, oh, it's nothing. Anyone could do it. When you accomplish something, you brush it off like it doesn't matter. You think this makes you humble, but really, it makes you invisible. Here's what happens. When you constantly tell people you're nothing special, they start believing you. When you treat yourself like you don't matter, the world treats you the same way. It's like walking around with a sign that says, please ignore me, I'm not important. And then you wonder why nobody takes you seriously. Self-respect isn't arrogance, it's knowing your worth. It's accepting compliments with a simple, thank you, instead of deflecting. It's walking into a room with your head up, not down. It's speaking with confidence, not apologizing for taking up space. Because if you don't believe you deserve respect, nobody else will either. Now, here's where most people mess up, even when they have value. Keep their word, set boundaries, and respect themselves. They ignore mistake number 5. They look like they don't care. I'm talking about grooming, appearance, how you present yourself to the world. And before you say, looks don't matter, stop. They absolutely do. Not because you need to be attractive, but because how you look tells people how much you value yourself. Imagine meeting someone with dirty nails, messy hair, wrinkled clothes that smell bad. Doesn't matter how smart they are, doesn't matter how talented. Your brain automatically puts them in a lower category. It's not fair, but it's human nature. We judge books by covers whether we admit it or not. And I'm not saying you need expensive clothes or fancy products. I'm saying basic hygiene. Clean nails, fresh haircut, ironed clothes, good smell, brush your teeth, take care of your skin. These simple things change everything about how people perceive you. Because when you look put together, people assume you have your life together. When you look sloppy, they assume the opposite. Your appearance is a signal. It tells the world, I care about myself, or I've given up. Which signal are you sending? But now we get to the really uncomfortable part. The thing most people don't want to talk about, but everyone's thinking. Mistake number 6. You rely on one thing for respect. Maybe you're funny, so you think being funny is enough. Maybe you're smart, so you think grades are enough. Maybe you're kind, so you think being nice is enough. But here's the truth. Respect requires multiple dimensions. The funny person who's always late? Not respected. The smart person with zero social skills? Not respected. The kind person who lets everyone walk over them? Not respected. You need balance. You need to be reliable and valuable, confident and humble, strong and approachable. You can't just be one thing and expect complete respect. This is why the most respected people you know probably have multiple strengths. They're good at their job and they dress well. They're smart and they're punctual. They're successful and they treat people right. It's the combination that creates real, lasting respect. And this brings me to mistake number 7, the one that might hurt the most. You surround yourself with the wrong people. Show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you your future. If you hang around people who don't respect you, who put you down, who use you, you'll never feel respected. Because you're teaching your brain that this is normal, this is what you deserve. But when you start cutting off people who drain you, when you start building relationships with people who actually value you, everything changes. Your standards go up, your confidence goes up, your self-respect goes up. And suddenly, people who used to ignore you start paying attention. It's not magic, it's standards. When you refuse to accept disrespect, disrespectful people naturally filter themselves out of your life. And the people who remain, they're the ones who actually see your worth. Now, let's talk about mistake number 8. And this one's tricky because it feels like the opposite of what you should do. You're too nice. You avoid conflict. You agree with everyone. You never stand up for yourself. You think this keeps the peace, but really, it just makes you forgettable. Because people don't respect nice, they respect strong. They respect someone who has opinions and isn't afraid to share them. Someone who can disagree without being disagreeable. Someone who stands their ground when it matters. This doesn't mean being rude or aggressive. It means having a backbone. It means when someone crosses a line, you address it. When someone's wrong, you correct them. When something's unfair, you speak up. Because silence isn't peace, it's surrender. And surrendering your voice surrenders your respect. Mistake number 9 is simpler but just as deadly. You care too much what people think. You change yourself to fit in. You hide your real opinions to avoid judgment. You pretend to like things you don't. And ironically, this people-pleasing behavior makes people respect you less, not more. Because everyone can sense fake. Everyone can feel when someone's not being real. The most respected people are authentic. They know who they are, and they're not apologizing for it. They have interests that might be weird, opinions that might be unpopular, styles that might be different. But they own it. And that confidence, that realness, commands respect in a way pretending never will. And finally, mistake number 10. The one that connects everything together. You're waiting for permission. Permission to speak up. Permission to take space. Permission to be confident. Permission to demand respect. But here's what nobody tells you: that permission will never come. You have to give it to yourself. Stop waiting for someone to notice you and make yourself noticeable. Stop waiting for someone to respect you and become respectable. Stop waiting for your life to change and change it yourself. Because respect isn't a gift someone gives you. It's a result of how you show up in the world. Every single day, you're either building respect or losing it. With every choice, every action, every word. The person who shows up on time builds respect. The person who keeps their promises builds respect. The person who values themselves builds respect. It's all addition or subtraction, and you're in control of the math. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one thing from this list. Just one. Maybe it's setting better boundaries. Maybe it's improving how you look. Maybe it's actually following through on what you say. Pick one thing and commit to it for 30 days. Watch what happens. Watch how people start treating you differently. Watch how you start treating yourself differently. Because respect isn't complicated, it's just uncomfortable. It requires you to face hard truths, make difficult changes, and hold yourself to higher standards. Most people aren't willing to do that, which is exactly why most people don't get respect. But you're different. You watch this far, which means you actually want to change. You actually want better. So, stop making excuses and start making moves. Stop blaming others and start fixing yourself. Stop waiting for respect and start earning it. The world respects people who respect themselves, people who have standards, people who deliver value, people who keep their word, people who set boundaries. Be that person and watch everything change. If this hit you, drop a comment saying, "I choose respect," and let's build something real. Your next chapter starts now.